Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes now. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello there, this is a little extra conversation for Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. I'm very, very pleased to be joined now by Ed, who has heard that intro. Obviously, all that music and the commentary was something that he's not been involved with. But Ed has just started at the club a couple of weeks ago, and he is the head of club development. So hello, Ed, how are you?
Yeah, very well, Mike. Good to be here and good to talk to you. You hunted me down quite quickly once you saw I joined.
Yeah, I did it before you got the chance to listen to realise how awful they were. So before you could have a chance to back out. But yeah, I'm going to have to probably have another look at the intro now with all the extra things that have happened in the last couple of weeks. You're going to have to obviously try and take credit. You've only started the job 2 weeks. And within your first 2 weeks, here we are at Wembley. Have you mentioned that to Bruce? That surely
I haven't mentioned to anyone. Well, no, not yet. But I think I should take full responsibility for the success on the pitch. No, it's you know what I joke, but it's been absolutely amazing, and it's testament to the work going on by the staff on and off the pitch. Just the phenomenal success of this club. The story it's just incredible, absolutely incredible.
What obviously we're doing it as an audio, but what people can't see is Ed is doing exactly the same as most of the rest of us throughout the season. Just the head is just shaking, going, I don't understand what's going on. I'm very confused right now.
Yeah, it's incredible. I was actually away this week. Unfortunately, I was in the Middle East, and I was watching it on a laptop. Basically, somebody was FaceTiming me. I was stood on the roof of a hotel watching the penalties via someone else FaceTiming the TV, trying to see what was going on. So it was pretty incredible. But yeah, a great start for me, but an incredible time for the club.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're all very, very much looking forward to the Wembley. It only I said this last week. I think it was probably one of the quietest I've been on the video. Only sort of dawned on me on the morning after over breakfast as I was looking through my Twitter feed that I was like, "There's actually a trophy at the end of this. It wasn't just about getting to Wembley. It was we now have another match to go." It's like, oh my god, that's just blown my mind. I can't quite understand this. But yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. But obviously, your job isn't so much what's gone on. It's not so much what's happening right now. We're talking the next few years. So you're head of club development. So what does that mean to me and all the other?
What does that mean to everyone? So I think one of the things that attracted me to the club was its story and the journey it's on, which I find fascinating. I think it's an incredible project to now be involved with, and I think everyone I've met, the enthusiasm is frightening. It's such an exciting time for the club, and if I've been a lifelong fan, I would cherish these moments and hold them very dearly, because this is an incredibly exciting time. So in terms of the job, it's kind of a twofold position, really. It covers both looking at the commercial side of the club and how we can, as we move into the professional era now, how we can develop that side of what we do. And also the other bit of it is kind of a sporting director role. So one of the projects I'm working on at the moment, for example, is looking at the training ground facilities and what's the short, medium and long-term plan for us there. where do we see our short-term home, where are we going to invest long-term, but also how do we improve everything around the edges of that as well, and how do we have best in class. I'm really big on, we may not have the budget of a Man City, we may not have the budget of a Sheffield Wednesday, we may not have the budget of, whoever in League Two, but we can pull out, whatever we can. I'm a big fan of clubs like Southampton, who do things their own way, and I think it's really important that we do pave our own way. Coming from where we've come from and where we are currently, we've got a blank bit of paper. We can look at things differently. We can do things differently. It's just all very, very exciting.
Yeah, no, it's when you say enjoy the moments, the problem, inverted commas, is they don't seem to be stopping. They just keep coming and coming and coming.
Well, we hope not. We hope not. And I think as part of the planning that will go on, I think the last 12 months or the last 18 months, everyone I've been speaking to, in fact, no, probably the last 12 months, moving up to League Two was such an enormous undertaking, and the amount of work that I can see has gone on backstage is unbelievable. Still on a huge voluntary basis, the club is still a voluntary club as it stands, and part of my remit is to help that transition to a more professional outfit, which we need to do because look, we want success to keep coming to the club. And we know that we need to fund that, and we need to run as a professional football club in the next few years. So it's an exciting time, but as part of this, we will be planning for the next 3, 5, 10 years, because the clubs that are successful, like a Southampton, they always had their way. They always talked about a 5-10 year plan, and they backed themselves against it. So, they won what was it back then, the Johnson's Paint Trophy, when they were in League One, and they had a 5-year plan, and that kick-started them back to the Premiership in 3.5 years. So everything's achievable. Everything's achievable.
They are a really good model. I mean, I said almost jokingly about Southampton a few years ago, where apparently all their teams play a very similar way right the way up, and essentially you can just pick up a player from the under 12s, put him in the first team, and he kind of knows what his job should be doing. Obviously we're going to do it, but that's why when players who looked great for Southampton went elsewhere, people weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, and they didn't always
you're absolutely right. It's the same style, and I was listening to the chief exec there a few weeks ago, and he was saying that Hasenhüttl is the best manager in the world for Southampton, and I kind of thought, well, okay, what does he really mean by that? But what he meant was, for their budget, for where they are, the style of play they have to adopt to beat big teams, to drag the ability out of what they've got, to find that 1-2%, he's the best man for the job. Pep Guardiola wouldn't win the league with Southampton.
No.
And, Hasenhüttl will drag the talent out of those guys and find a way of combating the Klopps and the what have you, and finding the extra 1-2%. Have we got the best possible facilities we've got for the players at League Two? Are our facilities the best in League Two? Are they better than League One sides? We need to stretch what we can within our limitations, and if that means thinking differently, then so be it.
Excellent. So you're more of an overarching viewpoint than necessarily the first team. Obviously, you want the first team to do well, but it's more.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's paramount to a club's success. The priority's got to be on the first team, obviously, but we're not just talking about youth and scholars, what have you, but women's football as well. We would be incredibly short-sighted not to try and progress every single age group, man and woman, as hard as we can. Success doesn't just come in one specific area. We can make bold statements like saying we want to be the best club in the UK. There's nothing. I'm not scared of making statements like that. You become the best pound for pound club. That's what your aim is. We've got the best in class at everything for where we're at, and we'll have clubs up and down the country. And it may be small, tiny little things, on the business side, on the sporting side, where people, I want to have meetings with Premiership clubs in a couple of years where they say, "Oh, that's different. Why do you do it like that? Can I steal that? Yeah, of course you can."
Well, one of the things, obviously, as we've mentioned, you're a huge volunteer basis club. Just tapped into quite a lot, but then sometimes it's not tapped into possibly enough, because we do have a lot of people working for a lot of different organisations doing a lot of skills, and we sometimes don't necessarily just go, right, who's working for such and such a company, or this is the kind of thing we need to be looking at and working for. So maybe I know I mentioned that. You mentioned I stalked you a little bit on your Instagram account and Twitter account, but you suddenly come up one night, followed by M Sports 6, I think it is, and on both my Instagram and Twitter, and I was like, hey, what's this? Who's this all about? And then I sort of noticed the little thing, and I was like,
it's EM Sports 6, just if anyone wants to follow. But it's you're right though, and finding the right people to do the roles is really important. I've been lucky enough to be director of rugby and involved with sport previously as well, and getting the right people in the right roles is so important in voluntary organisations. Mirroring the skill set from their day job into what they do at the club is paramount to success. I'm looking forward to engaging with the fans and the fan base, and
it's also the context, because when you're interacting and chatting with people, you might suddenly realise, well, hang on a minute, he's involved in this organisation. I'd really love to know how they do this, and you can just go and grab him and go, right, I want to know what this happens. So if anyone gets a follow from EM Sports 6, don't worry, it's not a strange person. It's just Ed trying to tap us up and work out what Sutton's all about. So have you known about Sutton previously? I know you were in rugby. You played, you mentioned to me earlier.
Oh, many years ago. My body's falling apart now with the career. And part of my career, I was in finance for a while, and I had a career in the military. So my body's kind of fallen apart over the years and kept together with tape. I think they rolled me out for a vets game once a year, which is just, it's those days are gone.
In time the next time you go, that was fun.
But I don't think, I believe very strongly that sports need to learn from each other as much as possible, and running a club, there are so many similarities in rugby and football, on the commercial side. Obviously numbers are different, but you can instill and you can learn so much from each other, and not just rugby but all sports. And I'm a big believer in talking to people, whether it be sporting directors or commercial people at other clubs, finding out what they do, little niches. They may have little things about how they do stuff. Their sports may be played at different times of year. They may have all kinds of different elements to be considered, but you've always got to think differently, constantly trying to adapt and stay ahead. I don't think we should follow anyone. I think with the new kids on the block, we're incredibly on trend as a club. I mean, it's a great brand. It's in an incredibly good area of London where we haven't got 20 clubs on our doorstep. So the opportunity is there long term to build something quite special. And I know we mentioned Southampton, but also clubs like Brentford. My God, they're potentially going to stay up in the Premiership this season. Mm-hmm. It's a staggering success. So there are plenty of examples out there of clubs that have done it. As long as we're not afraid, as long as we back ourselves, and as long as we not just have the vision, but have the people to back it up. Anything's possible for us. Anything at all.
I mean, I keep harping on about Southampton, but one of the things you mentioned there about trying new things and learning from sports, I do remember Sir Clive going to Southampton, and it was mocked. It was ridiculous, and it was what does he know? And then there was a little thing that he did about I think it was penalties or free kicks. I can't remember exactly. And he grabbed a glove of the youth players because he felt they'd be a bit more receptive. And I think one of those was Theo Walcott, if my memory's. It might be someone after him, and he got them to take penalties, and he videoed it. And then when he replayed it back, he said, "I got you to take 10 penalties, and you didn't take it the same way twice." He said, "You're kicking a ball. That's all you're doing. You're kicking a ball to the goal. The routine, everything should be the same. Like Johnny Wilkinson used to literally place the ball down and aim for, was it Martha or whatever? He said it was in the crowd, and he said wherever he was, that's what his mindset was. And again, it was just completely just vilified and mocked, isn't it? Isn't it ridiculous?
Yeah, I think football, and I think Harry Redknapp was there at the time. Who's a very successful manager, potentially probably quite old school manager. I think there was a bit of looking over the shoulder at him. Why is he here? What's he doing? But on the polar opposite, I think you need to embrace these things. You've got a guy here who took a country who was, way behind the Southern Hemisphere of professionalism, and went and dominated world rugby for 5 years, and won the ultimate prize. And his coaching was fascinating. If you listen to the players from his generation, they always joke, if you were good at selling sports kit, Clive would probably buy it off you. And for every 10 things they tried, they chuck 5 things out. 2 things would be in and out, 3 things would be brilliant, and they keep them forever because they weren't scared to push the envelope and try stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is where you're saying, we want to try new things. There's going to be a lot of rubbish, but you'll find out one or two things.
I'm not just talking around, Terry and Matt and the guys on the pitch. We're talking commercially as well. There's plenty of scope for us to do things away from the gate, away from the norm. I've been speaking recently, so I've lots of friends in finance and media and all kinds of different walks of life. And just talking to them about some of the things they do and just chucking ideas around. We kind of conceptualize sports as in very defined lines. This does this, that does that. Sponsor A does this. We need to really kind of think about how we approach things. And I hope in the next few months some exciting new ideas will be coming out of the club. Nothing to be scared of, nothing to worry about, things to embrace, cherish, because we're doing it the Sutton way.
Well, one thing I always said,
follow us.
One thing I always wished we had done. The opportunity's gone now, so it wouldn't ever have happened. But there used to be a pub opposite the Plough, and I always said we should have bought that pub and we should have run it as Sutton United's pub for the fans to go to during the week, and then on a Saturday for the away fans to have a focus to get there, and then we have all that money coming in all through the week and elsewhere. Now it's flat. Now it's flats, or it will be flats.
Well, we've got a great estate where we are. There's an incredible amount of room. There's some really good people looking at the stadium and the stands and how we develop those facilities over the coming years. And it's already started. First part's up. The next bit's going to be going up in the next couple of weeks. So we are going, and the train is leaving the station. So it's time to be very brave and really take control of our destiny and our future, and embrace it. But I would like to make one very clear point, I guess, that I suppose with my past in the military and rugby, custom and tradition is so important to me. History is so important. I'm the first person to demand players know their club history. They know about the club. They know the values and standards of the club. They know the mission statement because it's who they are. I don't really like talking about owners. I believe no one owns a club. You talk about Wimbledon. Wimbledon's a great example of that. It was bought, picked up, and moved, but the club never moved. The fans never moved. And look at them now. You never really own a club. The fans own the club. The people own the club, and it should never ever be forgotten. And we make sure whatever we do, however we progress in the future, however we modernise, we never forget that.
No, it's a strange, weird little club. I'm really looking forward to how you run with the branding of the brown and yellow. That's a joy difficulty that really is.
You kit next season. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
It's one of the things that at first you always, as a Sutton fan, you're like, I'm not sure about that. But then as time goes on and you realise how much it annoys all the other fans, you're like, I really love this. This is so funny. It's just one of the things. And Tin Pot, I think, was chucked at us this week. And I can't remember who it was. You're just a Tin Pot club. And then they were inundated with, we know. We're happy with that. Thank you very much. We're small little Sutton, and you're in the same competition as us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely embrace being underdogs. Embrace being, marginalised, because sport's got a funny way of things coming back and biting you. Yeah. So, I'm always very careful about what you say about other clubs, because you never know when it's going to come back round.
No, exactly. You never know when we're going to want to use them for something. That's why we love. Yeah, we make friends everywhere we go. But just to get a little vibe, and I'm not asking for any details, but when you say commercial, you're not talking about shop and sponsorship. Is a bigger picture, bigger things.
Well, again, there's lots of tiers. Everything from who our main sponsors are to our match day, and this is something really important, our match day activities, how we can uplift facilities that we have. There are facilities that are going to need to potentially stay longer as we develop other parts of the ground. So we need to look at how we can smarten those up potentially, how we can improve the match day experience for fans and get better value for them, get more interest in season tickets, look at how we can potentially do season tickets in a different format. So there's a wide range of things we can look at. Huge scope. So not predominantly at the moment, I'm looking around match day, because there are certainly facilities there that are going to have to stay longer than I'd say longer than we probably want, but finances are what they are at the moment. We're not Man City. We have to be very sensible, because whilst this is a very exciting journey, we talked about owners. People are custodians of this club, and there is no point going OTT just yet. We need to get to where we need to be to tick boxes and have the right regulations. But ultimately, the protection of this club after kind of 125 years almost, we need to make sure that this club is now a football league club for the next 25 years. Premiership club in 25 years.
I think you know what I mean. 2032, I think, is the current trajectory if we carry on.
Well, let's see what the 5-10 year plan comes out as.
Just a little aside, and you may not know it, and it may not have ever come up, but there was what you're saying about the match day experience and sort of maximising everything that we can on there. There was quite a lot of conversation on the Meet the Manager evening. I don't know if it was mentioned to you at all, because there was a whole 2 sections. It was Matt, great, lovely, wasn't it marvellous? We're promoted. Yep. And as soon as Bruce sat down, everyone just started talking about how difficult it was to get a beer. It It went on and on and on. It was like, guys, we're in the Football League. Let's move on. And yeah, fair play to Bruce. He said, yeah, I do know, and I see money walking away from the bar, and it breaks my heart. So hopefully there'll be something that we can get their beer and enjoy their match a bit more. Not enjoy the match. The matches are great, actually, but just the whole day.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll find like various Sutton fans on the social medias, and you'll start sort of realising people's personalities. Most people would literally love to talk to anyone about Sutton, so just grab them, and I'm sure they'll
yeah, and it goes both ways. Whenever people see me around the club, I'll be based at the club probably 3 days a week. I'll be working at the club about 3 days a week going forward, and I'll be at as many matches as I can be. But grab me, say hi to me, tell me your thoughts. Give me your opinion on stuff. I'm always keen to message me on social media. I'm always keen. Communication is king. I've seen clubs that don't communicate and it kills them. So we will communicate, and I will certainly communicate as much as I possibly can with the fan base and any organisation around the club, because we're in this together.
Yeah, absolutely. And just probably we'll make this the final point. And AB refused to be drawn on the answer, but just to double check that the curver, which I was trying to show, but it's not working. The curver is safe from any kind of plans in the future. It's always going to be standing there. Mike's little miserable spot is going to be there forever and ever and ever. Yeah.
I am not privy to that information as yet. I do not know. It's a short.
I can't understand why no one will just give me the answer.
Which side's that? As you come in.
So in the main stand.
Yeah, to the left.
To the left on the far side. It's fine. I'm joking. I know. It's
I don't know.
It's not on the list yet, but it is going to be on the list.
I remember when my the reason I mentioned that to my father's a season ticket holder at St Mary's, and when he lost his seat at the Old Dell, oh goodness, it was World War III at home. He was so depressed, and he went to St Mary's and sat there miserably, and then Koeman came along, and then things flew, and he forgot all about the Dell. And he forgot all about his seat that had no roof over it, and his view wasn't that great. So, like I said, we need to embrace change, and as long as the quality's on the pitch, I think fans will be happy.
It's actually a conversation we've been having with a couple of people anyway. You'll notice as you come along, we're quite quiet as a crowd. There's the youth guys really do try, and my hat's off to them, because I'm such a hypocrite, because I'll sit there going, oh, it's not much atmosphere here today, being silent myself. But I think part of it is because quite a lot of the terracing is wide open. There's no roof, so any sound people do make just goes into the ether. So perhaps a little bit of as much as it would pain me, a little bit of regeneration would make people move to different spots on the ground, and we'd all be standing together. Because the game on Tuesday, where there was only 300 of us, Wigan, there was a lot of noise, and I've had friends who aren't that interested in something, watched it on TV, and they're like, we could only hear you guys, and it was like there was 5,000 Wigan fans there. So it is something we need to kind of go, oh, do you know what? We need to do something as well, but it's hard because we all have our own favourite little pieces of concrete that we like to stand or sit near.
We all do. We all do.
Very, very attached. But thank you very much, Ed. That was really, really useful and
pleasure.
Really, really good for people to know. So I'm sure people will grab you and send you messages. So reach out to any of the fans. Most people will be delighted to talk about Sutton United. You will have to probably put a time limit on it, though. You have to go.
Yeah,
I've got 5 minutes.
As I said, come and find me. Come say hello. This is an incredibly exciting time, and I will. All I can promise, with any decision, 1 in 10 people will go, oh, I'm not sure about that, I don't like that, but other 9 will go, great. So we will, and I will certainly be doing everything I can to help push this club on and on and on, and just continue this great story.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Take care.
Pleasure.
Good luck with it. Come back anytime you like.
Cheers, Mike.
Right,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
United! 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 United!